Okay, if you guys have watched my channel videos, a while ago I made like a video explaining what the best runes on Darius were at the time, and that was the point where it was like Conqueror+Resolve was the go-to like rune setup for every single situation. Now it's kind of different, right? Because basically right now, Nimbus Cloak is the most broken rune in the whole fucking game. So in order to basically keep the guide updated and to have to basically put my official statement out on runes, I'm going to introduce basically the three possible pages that you can take, right? So I'm just gonna do like a updated rune guide, but I'm just gonna do it real quickly, right? So let's just do a new one. Alright, so first page is this. So in this page, you're running precision and sorcery. First up, you take Conqueror as always, you take Triumph as always, and you take Last Stand. And on sorcery, you take Nimbus Cloak, and those are like the parts that you always have to take at all times. The parts that you can adjust with this page are here, Alacrity or Tenacity. Alacrity, you go into teams where it's like they don't have much like CC, and into teams where like you want to split push, you want to be like a strong split pusher, a strong duelist. You want to basically win a lot of fights, and you want to basically snowball super hard. That's for Alacrity. Tenacity is if you're against high CC teams, and it's especially good if you're into high CC teams and you can't afford to build Merc Boots, right? Here, Celerity is for that little bit of extra movement speed, or Transcendence is for 10% CDR. Like either works, like you can take both of them, right? And here as well, like the stats, this goes for everything, all the rune pages I'm going to introduce right now, but the stats you basically just build for your game, right? You almost always want attack speed, and from here you can take double armor if you're into like a Riven or like a Pantheon or like a Jace. You can take double like MR if you're into like an AP laner, Rumble, Cassiopeia. You can always take HP, which is very good, but like you should normally be taking resistances only. And if you're into like an easy lane, you can just, or a lane you want to fight a lot, like a bruiser lane. This is basically the go-to setup. Like into Camille, Renekton, Jax, this is the go-to setup for the stats, right? So that's the main rune page. You want to take this if you're good at Darius, and like if you just want to like basically bullshit people more often with your summoners, because Nimbus Cloak right now is fucking broken. Nimbus Cloak is so broken that like you should just be taking it. So until they nerf Nimbus Cloak, this is the go-to setup, right? The next setup is Aftershock, right? So this setup is way more customizable. You can always take Conqueror+Resolve, but I explained that page in detail in my last video, so just go check that out for those. But anyway, so Aftershock is like the go-to keystone for this kind of setup, because honestly Grasp works in lanes sometimes, but Aftershock straight up lets you actually tank people in team fights, and it lets you fuck people up in matchups such as Riven or Jax or Renekton. Or if you just pull them before they stun you or before they go in on you, you just mitigate so much of their damage so you can actually just crush them. You always get Demolish here, because Demolish and Darius is very, very good for taking plates. It's just that because like Nimbus Cloak is OP, we can't take the Resolve anymore, right? Here you can pick any one of these. Conditioning for super easy tank lanes like Scion or some shit, where you don't need the early power of these two. Second Wind into lanes where you have to sustain up, sustain up, and they have a lot of poke, right? Any range matchup. Bone Plating against bruisers like Renekton, Jax. It'd help if they were a bruiser who can't just like easily get rid of it, but otherwise, like, you know, you just gotta learn how to use bone plating properly. But for the most part, you want to take this into like bruisers that damage in like short bursts. Here, you mostly want to take Unflinching, and if the enemy team has no CC, which is a rarity, you can take Revitalize or Overgrowth based on preference. But the new Unflinching is very, very powerful, so you can take that. As for Precision, you take Triumph or one of these two, and I explain what they were. The last rune page is Phase Rush. Now, with Phase Rush, This is basically for lanes where like it's not that difficult to fight them, but it's just difficult to stay on them, or it's difficult like they have like a certain mechanic that you have to outplay. This is basically for like, bro, why is my chat going crazy? But whatever, fuck chat for this recording. Anyway, so basically, like if you're against Tryndamere and you have to outplay his W slow, that's when you take phase rush, right? Like you know how his like W makes it so that you can't kite him as easily? That's why you take phase rush. Into Nasus, right? Into Nasus. Like, Nasus' Wither and his R basically allows him to win all all-ins. And it's like, it's impossible. Like, you're Darius, he's Nasus. But his Wither lets him win his all-ins. And to outplay the Wither, you either need to take phase rush, bait his R, disengage with phase rush, and then go back in. Or you have to go Conquer and build a fuck ton of tenacity. And because the amount of tenacity you need is like insane, and you have to just go everything tenacity, this is like the way to go into Nasus, right? This is also great into like Kayle sometimes. If you can get on her, she's not getting away if you have phase rush. And Kayle is an annoying champion because you ever get on Kayle and like you don't have ghost, right? But you catch her, she's supposed to die, but no, she puts her fucking 99% slow on you for 10 years and speeds herself up, and she just zooms out of your range. That's not gonna happen with phase rush, right? With phase rush, you no longer need ghost to kill her if you catch her. So like, you kind of get the idea, right? Into lanes with low urgency, like lanes that are not dangerous, but like you can't just kill them without like more mobility. And ghost is great, but you're not always gonna have ghost, especially with a higher cooldown. And of course, having Nimbus Cloak in this setup works greatly. Now, the thing about this page, sorcery, is that like these runes are very irrelevant and useless, so it doesn't even matter which ones you take. Honestly, just pick the one that you like. They're all fucking shit. Out of these two, take one of these two, and you kind of get the gist of how the 3 pages are. So those are like the 3 pages for Darius, updated ones. As I said before, Conqueror+Resolve one is, of course, I made a very detailed explanation about that. But for the most part, at the moment, you won't be running this exact page with little modifications here and there.